Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome, America. Welcome, America. Welcome, America After Dark with Bernard Brown, one-on-one special guest, the one and only Jay Jones, the one and only Jay Jones. Welcome Saturday night. Saturday night, I know y'all could be doing something else, but y'all here with America After Dark with my guest and the only guest, the one and only Jay Jones. Jay Jones. We want y'all to share. Call your mama, call your daddy, cause this, hey, trust me, this gonna be something else. Hey, this gonna be something. I've been waiting for this for a long time. How you doing, little young fella?
What's up, big bro? How you doing today? You hear me?
I can hear you well. Definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. Hey, man, we've been trying to get. I've been trying to get you on this. Been trying to get you for a minute. Better late than never. Better late than never. I like that hat.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Dan.
All right. So, how you living, man? How you living?
Everything is copacetic in my world, man. Just happy to vibe and you know, spending a lot of time family. Family's been probably the focal point for this year right here for me. That's why I've been out of the limelight. You know, if you don't know, I'm Botanical Boy's father. You know, he's doing great things as far as Botanical Boy is concerned. He's in the middle of putting the book together. We doing plant sales still, so shots out. Botanical Boy, go shop with him. Botanical Boy Square. You know, just spending time with family, loving time spending with wife, as well. So I mean, it's just everything is a blessing. More time with family. Kind of cut back on a lot of all the volunteer work I was doing in the community and really focusing strictly on Jay Jones and the Jones family right now. So that's it.
Right. Hey, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to take a back seat and refocus. I always say, you know, refocus. Just like America After Dark. This is something different now. This 101 until we you know, baby brother get things together and personal life. So I figure, hey, you know what? Hey, the show must go on.
Yeah, we gotta make sure to bring Judge Brown back because Judge Brown always keep us smiling. Make sure
that's it,
brother.
That's it,
right there.
Yep.
Right
there. And with Jamal, he just got contract problem, but we try to figure something out. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, just like I said, it's something new and I enjoy it. And you know, I thank you for taking your time out, especially on Saturday night.
Man, you keep the truth rolling, man. And anybody who keep the truth rolling, you know you got my grace and concern.
Hey, definitely. And I appreciate that. People don't realize, man, we family. We go back a long, long way.
Yeah, man. Town to Chapel, shots out.
Hey, there it is. So hey, let's get things rolling. You said everything. Hey, everything's off the deck.
You have a chance to talk about what was not out, what wasn't in. So I'm gonna play fair with you, man.
Yeah. No, I thought I called you and told you everything is in. I mean, but you know,
you got it, man. You got it.
Hey, you know when you step in America After Dark zone, everything goes.
Yes, sir. All
right. Hey, Miss Producer, hey, we're gonna start it off, and the thing gonna be this. First thing first. Question of the night is, hey, who is Jay Jones?
First question of the night, who's Jay Jones? Jay Jones is a metaphoric creature that has evolved over time, maybe the last 20, 30 years. A lot of that involvement has to do with marriage, has to do with, you know, introducing the child into my life and, you know, just even understanding how the political spectrum flows and goes in our environment and anything like that. Most people know me for politics, you know, but in reality, everything I do is for the enlightenment of the greater good for African Americans, especially those who are in Savannah, Georgia. And the reason why is it's nothing to be racist or anything like that. It's just a fact of I have seen in this vortex that African Americans have been the most forgotten group of people, and the dominance and the amount of people that should be in this environment and how we should be dominating this stream, it just doesn't match it. And you just seeing how most of the issues and most of the concerns that happen in our community come from Black people on Black people. And my thing is we give and I hate to make it a black and white conversation, but we
No,
give
go ahead.
to other races out there for our demise, but a lot of demise going in our own community has stress and has come from our own community. So enlightening, waking up people, making sure that we have an opportunity. The biggest concern to me is when Johannes turns 18, for him to be able to walk into a society that he can freely become a man in this society who can profit if he chooses to do so, or not profit if he chooses not to just do anything. But I want it where he turns 18, he has an opportunity. That's 8 years from now, when he has an opportunity where he can thrive and flourish in this community. And that's the biggest thing from my heart is, us be able to go into hospitals, be able to work the way we want to work to, be able to flourish. I mean, is my biggest concern. And I've kind of morphed into this creature over the last 5, 10, 15 years into understanding and discovering my purpose. God gave me a good dynasty, a good purpose. And that is to help others, but not just help them with your hands and volunteerism, but help them through the political streams of how everything goes in the marching of this community environment. In short.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about your better half, Miss Jones. So tell us a little something about Miss Jones. I know she's always behind the scenes, so just a light people know things that they don't know. Let's talk about Miss Jones.
All right, so Miss Jones is the alternate person of Jay Jones, and so everybody knows me as the outgoing go-getter, the person who expresses his interest, expresses his conversation. Most people say I'm passionate and anything like that. Miss Jones is that one who keeps a nurturing eye on not just me, but me and my son. So when we're out in the environments and I'm happy-go-lucky and shaking hands and doing everything like that, Miss Jones is watching all y'all. She's making sure she come back to me and say, James, you think that person like you, but that person right there, really how they looked at you or whatever case be mantra-wise, they weren't all there for you. And so, that's my backbone, that's my rock, that's my angel, that's the person who keeps our household grounded and nurtured in an environment where it's conducive for us to be able to thrive and be successful. So, I mean, I love her to death. We don't always see eye to eye, but she's always the one who makes sure she keeps everything structured and copacetic in our household.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, I always tell them, hey, behind a great man is a great woman.
Yes,
you
sir.
know what I'm saying? When I see her, she's always pleasant and especially little man. He's must see TV. Believe me. Trust me, he's must see TV.
Yes, sir.
Ain't too many. And y'all doing a great job with him. You never see a young man like him doing the things he do, man. He's very professional and on TV. It's like he got the right answers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There ain't too many little kids like that.
Yes, sir. It's a lot of training behind all that. A lot of training.
Yeah, and I'm very definitely very impressed, on a great job that you and Miss Jones are doing.
We appreciate it, man.
And I appreciate it. Miss Producer, next question, please. Going deep with America. Hey, do you care about what people think about you? This is a metaphorically speaking question. 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I did care about what people think about you. But in essence, nowadays, and I know we on social media and we don't want to get blocked or whatever case may be, but I don't give a damn about what people got to say about me. They talked about Jesus, and they were willing to talk about Jesus. Why wouldn't they be willing to talk about me? If you understand, Jesus walked this earth, and when he walked this earth, he did everything he could to provide the best necessary example of what a person should be, and they still talked about him. And so my thing is I strive and try to be the best I can be as far as a person concerned. And if they're going to talk about Jesus, they're going to talk about me. And so do I care about what they got to say about me? I very rarely really don't. What hurts me more, if anything, is when people of color or people in our community dog each other out, talk about each other,
rat on each other, whatever the case may be, in closed conference, closed doors, and then make up stuff, make up secrets, make up all that conversations. What I do care about anything, if and Bernard, you know this because I talk to you about this all the time, is my thing is what I do care about is if you got something to say or you got a question about if Jay Jones did anything out in this world, this is a public domain right now. I'm speaking this way. Rather than going out there and talking to everybody around Jay Jones, come to Jay Jones and talk to him. Because my thing is, I'm gonna give you the answer short, right, wrong, or indifferent. Right. And my thing in this world right here is, if I have to care about anything, I care the fact that you wasn't strong enough, man enough, or even powerful enough to come to me yourself and ask your questions. Get whatever off your chest with me, rather than going out there and find the answer or the question. Because I told you this the other day, but most of the problems in the Black community is because we don't talk to each other. And if I care about anything, I care that we don't talk to each other enough. Because my thing is, I ain't gonna be mad at you for not liking me, for not caring for what I say about you, do about you, or anything behind your back. I care more the fact that you didn't even come to me as a man or as a woman to say, hey, Jay, is this true? Because my thing is, if it's true, I'll tell you it's true. If it's not, I'll tell you that too. And so if I care about anything, I care the fact that we do not communicate enough in this community, especially us as African Americans, to make sure we get things off our chest so we can move our narratives forward. We may not agree, but we can still move our narrative forward if we get it off our chest and deal with those people who we have anguish or malice or anything against, and making sure we have those conversations, sir.
Right. You're right. My biggest thing is this. It's like, don't lie on me.
I agree.
Don't lie on me. Hey, if I got something to say, I'm gonna say it to you.
Yes, sir.
But I'm gonna put it in a private. I may pick up the phone and call you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lay out the dirty laundry in public. That's disrespect. Hey, we need to talk, bro. You know what I'm saying? We need to talk because at the end of the day, it's a communication problem.
And Bernard, but I don't even care if they lie on me, because you know what has always happened in my life. They lie on you and spread a lie, and it always happens that lie come right back to that joker.
There you go.
It's them right in their face, and I don't even have to do any fighting because the lie took care of itself.
Yeah, you're right. You absolutely right. And that's why I say, that's why I wanted you. Matter of fact, you're the second guest on One-on-One with America. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I appreciate it. Our first guest was Tar Rose, great young man. And I'm just going around Savannah just picking. You know what I'm saying? Kept picking. You know what I'm saying? Picking people that people don't see the other side of. You know what I'm saying? They always see like, serious and family, but it's a different side of you. You know what I'm saying? You got feeling just like everybody else got feeling. So this show is basically down the line on the show, clear. I always say clear some shit up.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, keep it real and clear it up. So Miss Producer, next subject, please. Ask yourself this question here, Mr. Jay Jones. Do you take things personally?
I learned, like I said, man, I'm a growing artist right now. I learned when you take things personal, you lose sleep, you lose time, you lose effort, and you lose energy. And my thing is, I've learned over time, when you take things personal, you can't move forward. And so when you take things personal, I traditionally don't take things personal. A lot of people get scared behind a lot of people say they don't take things personal. But a lot of people get scared behind how I don't take things personal. I just Bernard, I just got tired of having sleepless nights and trying to figure out a solution to how I'm going to get somebody back, or how I'm going to do it's all that negative energy out there trying to focus on the reflections of taking things personal, how all that it's just so much negative energy toward that. I've learned to let go and let God handle those situations. And so when you talk about taking things personal, yes, as a man growing up, as a single man for sure, I knew I used to take things personal. It was always vindictive. It was always trying to get somebody back for something they did. But in this day in life, man, I you know, I've gotten better at praying on it, fasting on it, let God handle it from that position, and let God do the rest. And I think that it's been a blessing. My mind, my heart, my soul has been blessed more behind that, not taking it personal, because it's just too much energy to try to figure out how to fix things when you take it personal. And so I just don't take the time to make things personal, bro.
Yeah. So, so what do you say to your naysayer? Say that Jay Jones take things personal. So what you say to those naysayers that you take things personally?
I don't say anything to them, because my thing is, most of the naysayers who will say things that I take things personal, they won't say it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't address a situation from a naysayer if they're not willing to say it to me. Now, if they go on social media and talk about, well, Jay Jones take things personal and stuff like that, they didn't say it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, sometimes I'll pick up the phone, sometimes I'll text them or whatever case may be and say, if you got a problem with me, give me a call, talk to me straight up one-on-one. And 90% of the time, I'm gonna tell you that now, 90% of the time, nobody will pick up that phone and calls and say, hey man, you know, they take it, you know, they take it out of context. And so, you know, my thing is not many times that somebody has tried to address me one-on-one when it was something that was personal out there. And I try my hardest in this world, Bernard, to not make enemies. I try my hardest in this world not to make enemies, because God didn't walk this world. I mean, it's a form of Jesus. Jesus didn't walk this world making enemies. Why would I go out there and be a worse example than what he has to offer?
Right. You know, and I agree, and I totally agree. You one of the you're a young man that I call controversy. A lot of controversy around Jay Jones. Like I said, I've been going from him for 40 years, you know what I'm saying? And I've been back here about 8 months, but I've been knowing you that long, you know. And so it's a Jay Jones. So I'm like, because I haven't seen you in a while, right? So they say, George, I say, what the hell is Jay Jones? I mean, because your name, I say, whoa, what? And then when I see it, I'm like, oh man, you Jay Jones. You the little fella with the nappy hair. You know what I'm saying? Growing up. and I'm telling you, I was like, wow, man, it brought back Ferris Street, West Savannah,
Church Street,
Young,
Eagle Street, Church Street,
yeah,
Augusta Ave corridor. I'm with you.
Yeah, definitely. And I told Ike, I was like, you know who Jay Jones is? And when I explained this, I said that's Sam and Eric and Brenda and all of, you know, that's family. So I'm like this. I don't really take things personal no more like I used to. But one thing I do take personal is when somebody that don't know a person and attack that person behind your back. And that's what I got a problem. You know what I'm saying? If you man enough or woman enough to attack somebody behind their back, then you should be man enough and woman enough to say, hey, say that to that man or that woman face.
That's where I live, man.
You know.
That's where I live.
Yeah. So
that's where I live, man.
And that's great, and that's straight up, you know what I'm saying? But you controversy.
What made me controversy in this town is this, man. Number one, I'm born and raised here, but I guess I don't associate or assimilate like those people who are born and raised here. I'm born and raised. I'm a graduate of Beach High School. I went to Beach High School. I went to Windsor 3 years. I went to Durant 3 years. I went to Hess Hodge, Windsor Forest, Hurd. I went to a plethora, but all 12 years of my education was right here in Savannah Chatham County Public School Systems. My father was the union president for the American Postal Workers Union. My mother was a teacher. She was part of the union with the NEA. And so my parents are brutally rooted here. As you already alluded to, I grew up in the church here. I grew up in the AME church here all my life. If you ain't been to the AME church, you don't know controversy, because AME church teaches you controversy.
Right.
And so, you know, I grew up AME here. I am a product of this environment and this system. And I'll tell you straight up, when I first got into politics, most people associate my controversial behavior to politics. But when I first got into politics here, Bernard, they told me at the age of 38, I had to wait my time in order to get into politics in this community. And then what I did was, being an educated person I am, I started pulling back the ranks. And I started saying at 38, and that was 10 years ago, at 38, I got to wait my time. But then guess what? In this community, the real controversy in this community is the fact that Black people don't own at least 5% of the wealth in this community. That should be the biggest controversy in the community.
Right.
But where were they talking about that? They weren't talking about that. In an area, in an environment where the politics was dominated by Black people. Where's the controversy in that conversation? And my thing is, we would talk about the white man this, the white man that, but then the people who was in charge of writing the laws and making the laws and everything like that was Black as me and you, brother. That's the controversy. And so when you talk about politics, all the politicians in this community, and I'm talking about predating 10 years ago, all the politicians in the community were handpicked, meaning they were handpicked before an election cycle. So guess what? If we're not getting anything and all your politicians are handpicked and we're not getting anything, there should be some controversy here. People should be in uproar, should be in outrage. When they did we did a study here in 2015. I know you don't want to go too deep into politics, but
let's go.
We did a study in 2015 in this community when we had a white mayor in this community. 2015, we did a study and it showed, of all the contracts coming through the city, we got less than 3%. And back then the city was 60% African-American. That's controversial. But what have we done to improve that narrative since then? It's gotten worse for African-Americans, and they won't even address it on the city council, the same city council that's got all kind of controversy. And, you know, and I'm not here to pick sides and pick conversations. Every citizen in the city of Savannah should be in an uproar that the fact that you got 6 to 7 sitting city officials that look just like me and you, Bernard, but ain't put out one narrative to make the narrative better for African Americans in this community. That's the controversy. That's why I'm controversial, because you know what? I ain't afraid to speak about it. That's what makes me controversial, brother.
Hey, and I understand. And you know what? You know, and you're right. And that's the problem, is that, and you know, I always say, you know, what look like us ain't always for us. You know, and on that note, Mr. Producer, we're gonna go to a commercial. Mr. Producer, commercial, please. Well, I guess not. I guess I'm gonna have to do my own commercial at the end of the day. Hey, I want to thank you, once again, thank you for taking out on your Saturday to hang out with Mr. America. I want everybody to share. Share this on YouTube, Instagram, Roku, Twitter, and everywhere y'all know, just share it and let everybody know, hey, you know, call your mom and daddy that the one and only Jay Jones is on America After Dark 101, and we keeping it real as it get. And hey, like I said, little fella, since I'm the big dog. Hey, like I said, I appreciate you, man, and we're gonna continue to keep this thing real. I mean, and at the end of the day, hey, like you say, hey, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is.
I ain't said it in a month of Sundays.
I know it. That's why we got it. It is what it is.
Yes, hey, sir.
Mr. Producer, next subject is on a serious note. Flash serious note. Number one, would you run for office again? And number two, would you run to be a mayor of Savannah, Georgia?
Number one, I can't run for mayor unless I move back into the city of Savannah in 2027. So it depends on how we feel between the next 4 years. I do know that, that's an option, but the price of living in Savannah is a whole lot more expensive than living in Pooler. And I'm loving the equity we have absorbed in Pooler over the last 2 years. We probably picked up $100,000 in equity in our house. So we have appreciated where everybody else may be depreciating. So, I'm kind of loving my situation. I have been asked to run for mayor of Pooler, Georgia. Reason being, right now on the ticket in Pooler, Georgia, you have 3 Caucasian Republicans sitting on the ticket. The ticket doesn't officially get into rank until August the 21st to the 25th. I have and contemplated on that piece right there. I'm probably about 10% in on running for the mayor of Pooler, so that's it. I do have an exploratory committee looking at running for the chair of the county. I have been asked to run again for the chair of the county, which is next year's election. But that also weighs in the factor of looking at those 8 seats, because you can be the chair, but if you don't have the 8 seats on the floor to actually support the agenda that you want to move forward on, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of effort. So I do not want people to just ultimately agree with me, but I do want to make sure that there are other people in the county running to change the narrative of the county. I think recreation should be the top priority route. It was my top priority in 2020 when I ran for public office. It still is my top priority. We have not changed any, Bernard, when it comes to the county as far as recreation is concerned. And you want to talk about reducing crime, that's the quickest way in the narrative to reduce crime. You create an alternative narrative. Young people will fall into that. And I think we've done in the city of Savannah and Chatham County, we've done a disservice to the parents and the kids in those 2 communities as far as recreation is concerned. I live in Pooler. We have a wonderful recreation department. You saw Johannes' picture. Johannes is playing football. It's an easy setup. They take care of the equipment. They highlight what needs to be done. They tell you how many kids can practice and play. I do. My only quorum, and I can't even judge them just yet, will be diversity within the climates of the recreation department itself. But my thing is, I'm not even going to judge them on that because I have not played yet with them to even judge them on that. But those are the pieces I would actually have to say as far as that. That's my main highlighted person. Piece. I'm kind of glad, and everything is designed by God. God has the design. The reason why I'm not the chairman of the county, because you know what? These last 33 years have been an abundance of joy, working with my family, being with my family, being with my child, doing everything. I mean, like I became a closeness person, but I can tell you now that, tomorrow's the first day of school, and tomorrow's also my first day getting back out in the community and actually being that disruptive Jay Jones that I used to be. Everybody know me so well.
Right.
So, that's where I'm going. That's my narrative. Only God has the answer as far as where I'm planning on being at. But I'm probably, to give you an answer, about 50-50 in on running for chair again. There's no hiding on that. There's no discussion on that. And, if God gives me the plan, he gives me the proceeds to be able to do that, God willing, I'll be running for the chair.
Oh, okay. So you say, so it's running for, is Pooler, it's time for Pooler to vote for another mayor now? I mean, I thought
the current mayor in Pooler, Rebecca Benton, is no longer running. So therefore the seat is becoming vacant. So we will have a new mayor out here in Pooler. If you look at the numbers, Bernard, when Warnock ran in 2022, he won at 58.8%. So he beat Herschel 58-42. What that tells me is if you have the right numbers, right number of voters actually show up to the polls, you can put somebody of African-American descent, because right now you look at the numbers, you got 3 Caucasian, and this ain't racist talk. This is just
right.
You have 3 whites running, and they all tied to the Republican Party, and you had 58% just last year, where you have Warnock at 58%, who's a Democrat, winning that same area. So what that means, if you put somebody like Jay Jones in there, as controversial as I am, in that race with 3 white people who are Republicans, I got a great chance of winning because it's not like the city of Savannah where it's a 50+1. It's whoever gets the greatest population wins the election. So if I get 31% and the rest of them get 28, 22, 27, I win without a runoff because there is no runoff in Pooler.
Right.
And so these conversations are the conversations I implore, and I ask you, my number is 912-228-2205. If you want to have these kind of conversations about politics, I'm all ears. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Because that's what we should be doing to move the narrative forward because Pooler has changed. It's not the old Pooler that me and you grew up with, where we didn't cross that borderline and go in Pooler. Pooler is pushing 30, 40,000 people in the next 5-10 years. We have a Costco out here. We have industry. We have Dave and Buster's coming. We have industry beyond repair coming out here. So that industry needs to be matched with leadership, and that's why it's so important for us to make sure whoever the next mayor is in Pooler is just as important as whoever the next mayor is in Savannah.
Right. So I got a question. I got a question.
I got an answer for you.
All right, definitely. Okay, so my thing is this: you got so much issues in Savannah, Georgia. You got so much issues. I see how Black folks is being treated in Savannah, Georgia. I see that, 24/7. My thing is, if we got so much issue in Savannah, Georgia, and the Black community, why is so many Black folks leaving, going out in Pooler, Georgia?
Well, Bernard, you gotta look at the reason why, and Bernard, that's a phenomenal question. But they ain't just leaving to go to Pooler. I want to correct that. They're going to Fort Wentworth, Garden City, Rankin, Richmond Hill, because you know why? The cost of living in Savannah has skyrocketed so much that to buy a house in Savannah is probably a first time homeowner in Savannah is going to become a rarity because the cost to be able to live in Savannah has skyrocketed out. Where in Port Wentworth, even Pooler, Rankin, all these other little outskirts cities, the cost of living is a lot cheaper for you to buy as a first-time home buyer. And so when you're looking at Savannah, now you're not looking at Savannah where back in the day in Augusta Ave corridor, you can be a first-time home, or Cloverdale, even Cloverdale, you can be from Tatumville or Liberty City. In those Black neighborhoods used to be able to be a first-time homeowner. That likelihood of you becoming a first-time homeowner is second to none. That's why the migration is going out into these rural, they're not rural, but rural communities outside the city of Savannah because the city of Savannah is being priced out. And that's it in a nutshell. And part of that price out is because Savannah has become a tourist destination or a destination to live. So that's why if you live in Tatumville, you're getting 15, 16 phone calls for your property because they can buy your property at $200,000 and your property is valued at $150,000 because they know once they buy it and rebuild it, it'll be worth $300,000-$400,000. And so they're looking at the long-term strategic plan as far as property ownership is concerned, while we may be looking at our kids getting inherit those properties and we looking at the quick fix, maybe $50,000, $25,000, where in essence that property can skyrocket to $150,000 because the growth pattern in Savannah is so strong and the nurture to be able to live in Savannah is so wanted that your house don't stay on the market past 2-3 weeks. And that's the problem that you create narrative-wise. And it's happening in Pooler too. It's just not happening as fast in Pooler as it happened in Savannah.
Okay. You know what? And the question that it's a couple questions that I want to ask. And I'm asking you because I know you know. And you break down numbers and you break down facts. Okay. What's the difference between, and I'm gonna say it, and you can break it down. Okay. What's the difference? What's the mayor's job? What's the city manager's job? And what's the alderman? What's their job? Break it down 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So people that don't know, break it down.
The first part of it depends on the government structure. In the city of Savannah government structure, I believe it's a city manager-led organizational structure. And what that means is the city manager is the person, ex-official person, who dominates and controls the narrative and makes determination on what things are issued and processed out in the city of Savannah. The mayor is just the person who puts the agenda together. And so they're also the judge. They're not the judge, but they're the one who puts the agenda together. They're the one who allows things in and out of an agenda. They're the ones who set the pace as far as how city council rolls. However, the city manager is the one who executes the agenda, who executes the process and everything like that. Aldermen versus aldermen at large is a very antiquated structure, because in this modern day time, you wouldn't have 2 aldermen at large. And since you brought up the question, I'm going to give you a short conversation about aldermen at larges in Savannah, which was constructed back in the 90s, because what it was they saw that the Black population was dominating in the city of Savannah, and they understood to keep control of it, you had to have aldermen and aldermen at large positions. So they created what they called an alderman at large 1 and an alderman at large 2. And with that, they gave a silent conversation to the Black community, saying that we're going to give y'all 1 and we're going to keep the other. Because back then they had the mayor seat, they had the alderman at large seat, and they understood that when they had all the different alderman seats, they were losing power and control. So the only way they can get power and control back was they had to create the alderman at large seats. And so that's part of the reason why the conversation alderman at large even was hinted in Chatham County, Savannah, Georgia. Now, back to that conversation, what you were saying is aldermen's responsibility is 6 districts in the city of Savannah. Each one of them is responsible for their own district to be able to have conversation and politic about their own particular district. I think Tony Thomas, and I won't allude to the 6 now, but I'll go back to Tony Thomas. So Tony Thomas served as my alderman in Savannah, Georgia on the south side. Tony Thomas had earmarked right about $2 million when it came to that splash. And what it was, he took care of those issues and decisions in that community. Now, you had an alderman in the 1st district who eventually became the mayor. His responsibility was to do the same for that district there. And we talking about, man, I'll just go ahead and put it out there if you put 2 and 2 together. His issue was to do that for District 1. And not to say bad, good, or indifference about Van Johnson, but during the 16 years he sat in that seat as an alderman, nothing got done. Nothing at all got done. Good, bad, and different. Now, all that's not on him. I'm gonna tell you that now. All that's not on him, because you also got to understand that anything to get done in the district, you have to have at least 5 votes. So the one thing he learned was you have to have 5 votes. He learned that. But when he was in that seat as an alderman, he did absolutely nothing. What I'm saying is not a throw a rock at Van conversation. It's a conversation that you can look at 16 years and it's documented. Not much was done in that community. Matter of fact, more has been done under Bonetta Lanier the last 3 years than them 16 years as Van was sitting in that seat. Now, once again, that's not a conversation to deplore and make Van Johnson out to be a bad person or negative conversation. I'm just stating the facts. Yeah. So now you move the narrative forward when you got a mayor in this seat who can change the narrative that he was unable to do for 16 years. Then it becomes a policy conversation. It becomes a policy conversation, because we have moved the narrative when it comes to economics more than we've moved the narrative of economics about people. And so when you're talking about it, first off, one, the 9 people up there that sit up there at city council are all policy makers. Number one, you understand that by design, they're policy makers. The next point is they infuse economics into their community to drive people to want to be a part of this community. And so what that means is if poor people are suffering, you find entities to drive poor people out of poverty into a situation where they can provide for themselves. That has been a failure of this administration. You've done everything you possibly can to make sure that poverty narrative has not been addressed and poverty is stagnated. So is crime. Crime has not changed. They have just created more maneuverability to keep an eye on crime. That's why crime has slowed down. Crime is still prevalent in this community. You just don't have the homicides. You might have more thefts. What happened is they're not tier 1 crimes now. You have more tier 2 and tier 3 time. Now, I love what the one thing I do love this administration did was they hired somebody who was an African-American, hired somebody from in the system to address the crime issues. And I do think I got to give it credit. Just in that essence, that should alleviate some of the crime. But my thing is this, and since you brought it up, And before you ask any other questions, since you brought it up, the decisions we make in November of who we play, and I'm not going to tell you who to vote for.
Right.
The decisions we make in November, if we show up to the polls or don't show up to the polls, it's going to be detrimental to not just Savannah, Georgia, but also Chatham County.
Yeah, yeah. And this is what I see. And like I say, I'm everything. Hey, you on America After Dark, I'm gonna keep it real, and I'm gonna keep it clear as real as can get. What my thing is this, you know, you got a lot of men's, you know, with their tail behind their tail and not speaking up and not doing this, not doing that, and you got these three ladies, and I'm gonna tell you, you got these three ladies, you know, Alicia, and Keisha and Bernetta. You got these three. So my thing is this, and let's break it down to me and let me understand what is so much problem that they can't get behind these three women's and support them like they need the support. What tell me what's the problem? Tell me, break it down to me.
You still live in you okay. So you understand the process. You still live in a chauvinistic society where males still believe a woman has a place. Number one. That's problem number one you got to deal with. You still live in a society that thinks a woman should be behind a man and not in front of a man. And biblically speaking, in the household, maybe that's correct and right, whatever the case may be. But these women, when they go in there and they're hammering at the table, they're policymakers. And so whatever conversation comes out their mouth should be about policy and about law and everything like that. But we're taking a family principle and bringing it into a political situation. And therefore, we have a convoluted, confused situation and environment in our community. And so what we have to do is, and then it don't help when the Savannah Morning News, WSAV, WTOC, WJCL, and all these other news outlets further push that narrative where rather than being unbiased and giving an unbiased opinion on both sides, they give biasness to a conversation that really has dominated the networks. And that domination is backed behind economics to drive Savannah. And so when you got this whole whirlwind of a conversation rolling, you have confusion amongst your electorate. And I'm explaining why you have confusion amongst your electorate, because if you go back to 2011, you had 48% voter participation. 2015, you had 36% voter participation. 2019, you had 27% voter participation. So you expect the participation is going to be about 21, 22% based on how it's been dropping about 7-8% the last decade and a half. The reason why that is because you brought confusion to politics. You when you talk to the narrative out there with people, Bernard, they say, you know what, we voted for so-and-so, and guess what? They didn't deliver. So why do I need to vote? Why should I keep voting? Why should I get out there and vote? You bring these negative conversations out there, and then people are confused at seeing who is for them and who is against them. And then not to mention the one I hate the worst of all of them. Well, that's the person that plays on my organ at church. That's my pastor's friend. That's my cousin. That's my sister. That's my nephew. He came to my birthday party last year. He spoke at my father's funeral last year. These are reasons why we vote. Where did you hear me say anything about a policy or building community center or anything like that? We vote for all the wrong reasons in the Black community. We vote on relationship. We don't vote on bottom line. And Bernard, until we start looking at who is really the voice of our bottom line, you know, we're going to keep failing. I don't dislike anybody up there on city council. I dislike their ways. I dislike what they're doing when it's relevant to pushing politics. But I don't dislike a person personal. And I think that's where we get into a lot of problems. Everybody makes things relational or personal. Yeah.
And you're right. And like I said, I just have a big problem with I don't need to get on the shoulder of a woman and let that woman carry me over the head. No. That woman need to get on my shoulder and I say, hey, I got your back. And I think most of these I'm calling what I'm calling them, you know, cowards and don't want to, you know, stand by whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, I take it personal. I take it personal. I mean, I don't want these, you know, ladies just busting their butt, and for the community, whether they're white, black, or whatever, you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I think that's why I asked you, because you break it down on Saturday night with America After Dark, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, but
You know
Bernard, I'm gonna tell you just like this, and what I want to clear, I think the one thing we got to take out subject matter wise, even though I said what I said earlier, is we got to stop saying that they're not supporting women or even black women in that conversation. Because I'm gonna tell you straight up, when I was on county commission as a black man, they weren't either. And you know, even as a business person, we still have not in this environment learned how to support each other in business. Right. So when you want to go to a political position where, and I'm gonna tell you from a position where I used to sit in that political seat, the minute they deliver you into that political position, most people in the black community think you owe them. And because you owe them, they don't feel that they have to support you.
Right.
And so that, I mean, and that plays into that conversation too. That's why I learned my first 2 years, I was like, man, where the cavalry at that's gonna support me in my mission? It wasn't until my third year where I realized I am the lieutenant, the cavalry, the soldier, the spokesperson, and I got to go out there and get on that mic, whether it's one person out there in the audience or 100 person out in that audience. I still got to speak the same narrative, the same truth, and I still got to find the measure and the way to be able to change this community. And I think that's where we have to morph to. And my thing is, Bernard, I know that they champion for the voice of what I would like to see narrative wise. And Bernard, I ain't poor and I ain't suffering, but I know they speak on that narrative. But what we have to get past is we got to stop fighting a mountain, because that mountain ain't moving.
Right.
You remember back in the day when they were drilling for gold, and that mountain was in the way. You know what they did? They tore that mountain down to get to that gold. Yeah, and that's the mentality we got to start having, brother.
Yeah, and you're right, and you're right. And we can go on and on. And like I say, this not only that, you know, when we Saturday night, you know, everybody can be doing whatever they want to do Saturday night and everything. But I think, you know, you breaking it down the way people want to understand, because a lot of people don't understand what's going on. A lot of people don't understand politics. A lot of people don't understand you personally. A lot of people don't understand me personally, because I'm not here for people to understand me anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't need to understand me. Trust me. If you try to understand me, man, hey, you're gonna need some medicine. You're gonna need some medicine, period. You know what I'm saying? So let's try this again. Mr. Producer. Can we go to a commercial? And if we can't go to a commercial, we're gonna keep on moving. I know it's a commercial time. So we're gonna give them a couple seconds, and then we're gonna move on. But like I say, Jay, I appreciate you for taking your Saturday night to sit here with me. You had really open eyes for a lot of people to understand not only you personally, but to understand how things work. City Hall, Savannah, people leaving Savannah, and everything. And you know, I definitely appreciate that. And like I say, you know, everybody gonna have naysayer. Everybody gonna have a naysayer. But at the end of the day, hey, it is what it is. Y'all keep on sharing. On our Black Media, and we're gonna keep it moving to the next subject, please. And we got about a good 30 more minutes, but hey, the next subject is this here. Inquired mind want to know, and this is a good one. Acquired mind want to know, what motivates you?
Good thing, and I'm glad you keep bringing it is what it is, because that's pretty much my mentality now. It is what it is. And what motivates me? Money don't motivate me no more. I guess what motivates me the most is peace of mind and a good, I think I said this earlier, a good roadmap to where my family goes. I mean, walking. If I really want peace and mind in the morning time, I'll take my dog 5:45 in the morning. We'll walk around the neighborhood. That's peace of mind for me, man. And I have that opportunity to be able to do that. Peace of mind is being able to provide for my family and live within my family structure and make sure that I see my family. I get to see my child every single day. I get to see my wife every single morning, and that's peace of mind in my book. I think, I used to be a drinker when I was younger. I don't drink. You know why? Because I got better peace of mind. In my younger life, I drank because I needed something to help me keep peace of mind. I don't need that no more. And so that libation has been replaced with, my plants, and my peace of mind, man. I'll be up 3 or 4 in the morning out here with music playing and fixing up my plants to make sure that they're available and ready for Johannes. My child to play football was peace of mind. These are things that I always wanted growing up, and all what I wanted as a child or as an early adult when I became married, all those things are coming in fruition. And I think that probably is the strongest peace of mind as far as anything is concerned. So, I thank God for allowing those things to happen in my life. And so I'm at peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess my new habit, peace of mind, since everybody gave it to me, I accepted it. And part of that controversial conversation is getting the right people elected in position. That's my new peace of mind. I'm working with young candidates who actually want to get an opportunity of running for office. That's my new peace of mind. So, I mean, these are little things that I like and I love to do, and I stay up in the wee hours of the morning doing because it brings that peace of mind.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right, because everything, if your heart motivates you, what I'm saying, you get a lot of stuff that motivates you, and I tell people, I'm 60 years old and I done did that, been there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know I look handsome and but that's on another story. And what motivated me, and I told God, I said, God, what do you want me to do for the rest of my life? God said, what I want you to do for the rest of your life is continue doing what you're doing, helping people, making other people's lives better, making people laugh, making people just smile, just do what you do. And I have no problem to do what I want to do and say what I want to say. And like you said, Jay, if it hurts your feeling, then obviously I must be saying the truth. Hey, if it hurts your feeling, I'm saying the truth. What I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So that's part of that's what I really wanted to get you to everything that we discussed so far is things that I wanted to discuss with you, and that most people have answered and questions and everything. I think you cleared up a lot of things about the one and only Jay Jones. You have hit home, and you kept it real, so I appreciate that. So the next subject is this here. I think we got personal, and everybody basically got an understanding about who Jay Jones is now. I don't think, if they don't, then part 2 will be coming. Hey, if they don't, it is what it is. So my thing is this is straight talk, real talk. And I think I'm gonna leave this on, and then I want you to piggyback with me. You piggyback off me.
Yes, sir.
Straight talk, real talk. And my thing is beef. Growing up, I didn't really have too much beef with anybody. Growing up, I really didn't have too much beef with anybody. Because I was my own person. I only compete with myself. But over the years, you have a little beef here and there. But I think with me, I picked up a beef And the only reason why I picked this beef up is because it's personal. And I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I got a beef with Van Johnson. I'm just keeping it real.
Yes, sir.
I got a beef with him. I think he's inconsiderate. I think he's not doing his job. I think he was 16 years in the first district, which is West Savannah, Clover, all that. I think it's still, things still look the same. And if you've been in some way if you've been in a job for 16 years and you ain't changed nothing, then I think, how in the hell you become mayor? I don't know. I maybe tell me I must be crazy or whatever. If you ain't did nothing in 16 years in a district and now you the mayor of Savannah, Georgia, hey, somebody tell me, because hey, I don't know. But Savannah, Georgia have turned into let's keep the tourists happy. Let's keep $20 million on Broad Street bricks. Let's push all the whether you white, black, or whatever, if you homeless, push it all the way out on the south side. I go to the south side and I take some people and I come around and this like 6 o'clock in the morning and they line up, begging for money. But you got all the hotels out there, and not, it's a problem, but you got all the hotels out there. You got Burger King, come on now, y'all at least can, like, if you spend more time trying to collect somebody else's money and you clean yourself up and go find a job, maybe you may not be homeless and maybe you still will. But I got a problem with him. I think he's dictating to the wrong people. I think he's not for everybody in Savannah, Georgia. I think there's a lot of paper bags being passed around. And yes, I said it. And who got a problem with me saying it? Google me. I ain't hard to find. So that's my beef. Those my beef right there. That's my beef. So you tell me, what's your beef?
I right now, I mean, to be honest, I don't personally have a beef out there on the strength of when beef comes to me, or beef is predicated, beef is about me. If they don't bring the beef to me, I don't internalize it or make it into a beef situation. So as long as you don't hurt, but I think, watch this, but now I'm gonna take it a step further.
Yes.
You can beat me up. As long as you don't touch that child or my wife.
Yeah. Touchdown.
Good. As long as you don't touch my parents, I'm good.
Touchdown.
Sister, I'm good. You can talk, you can say James ain't this, James ain't that, James is a piece of this, James is a piece of that. I care two flying, you know what? Long as you don't touch them people, I care about those. That's all that matters to me, brother.
Yeah.
Now, second to that would be, if I had some, I guess, political beefs or political gripes or anything like that, it would be the fact of, I'm sad to see, and as a person who is a policymaker who understands how policy is made, I'm sad to see that in 20 years, and I'm an extended pass van, and I know I'm gonna get people who throw rocks at me for this. But I'm gonna go all the way back to Floyd Adams, from Floyd Adams all the way to Van Johnson.
Yeah.
If you mirror it, it's half the cycle of what went on in Atlanta, and you got millionaires in Atlanta from what Andrew Young did, and all them jokers up there in Atlanta did when they forced the narrative of the airport to create black millionaires. We could have been doing the same thing right here, forcing the ports and logistics to do the same thing to make black millionaires within the logistics organization. Now, I'm not saying we got some wealthy brothers down there at the Longshoreman Hall, and I give credit to them being wealthy brothers. But I'm talking about millionaires. We should have millionaires, African American millionaires, port owners, and everything like that of the sun.
Yeah.
Behind logistics. We talk about the tourism and everything downtown, but logistics trumps tourism 3-1. And so, with that being said, that's how I need to focus on that piece right there. When it comes to Van Johnson, and I'm gonna say it just like this, my brother, Van Johnson is going on 20 years of being in office. Of those 20 years I just stated, I just broke down from 2011 all the way to 2020, all the way to 2019. I just broke down those 10-year time period. And I already give you a guesstimation of what's going to look like in 4 years. Part of that problem is we just don't show up to the polls. If we get this conversation out there, me and you talking about, and I'm just hypothetically speaking, but if we showed up to the polls at 30%, there would be no conversation of a Van Johnson.
Yeah.
And I'm just using him as a narrative since you brought him up.
Yeah.
But there would be no Van Johnson if we showed up to the polls at 30%. I didn't say 40%. I didn't say 50%. I said 30%. If we just increase by 8% what I'm projecting it to be, we can make sure that we turn over anybody. That's problem number one. But see, problem number two, most people who have beef or gripe with me have beef or gripe with me, this statement right here. Rather than telling somebody to run, to not run, I encourage people to run. The reason why I do that is because my thing is the electorate shows up when you have a multitude of people running for those different seats. Because everybody has to come up with a different message. But if you have one person running for that seat who runs unopposed, then what's the narrative of me going to the polls and voting?
Right.
Prime example, Bishop Sanford. I love the brother to death. Over in the second congressional district, Bishop Sanford. Right? That district has the lowest voting turnout of all the congressional districts in the state of Georgia. You know why? Because Bishop Sanford's been there for 30 years. He's ran unopposed for most of those times. So people get apathy and say, why do I need to go vote? Because the same person's on the ballot. That same conversation happened right here in Savannah, Georgia. You go back and look at those elections. A lot of those elections ran unopposed, whether it be county or city. And even in those rural parts like Pooler and everything like that, it's just the opposite skin tone. And the reason why we have had stale government in these structures, because guess what? We didn't have competition. So we had to have a beef or a gripe. Most people have gripe or beef with me, and I don't have gripe or beef with them. And I do have beef with anybody who wants to restrict the right to vote or for government structure to actually move the narrative forward. Right. So if I had anything, that would probably be my gripe or my beef.
Yeah. And that's it. And you know what? What's so good about this platform? And like I said, you know, we want to thank our Black media for allowing us, President George Hall, along with founder Charlie Brown. It allow you to get things out and allow people that don't know to know. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people around here that really don't know what's going on. But tonight, you breaking it down, even though they Saturday night, someone probably in the club or whatever like that, but it's going to constantly rerun. And at the end of the day, you know, we want to share, you know, and keep it moving. At the end of the day, remember in November. You know what I'm saying? Like Alicia always say, remember in November.
Yes, sir.
If I'm like this here, if somebody, just say, if somebody do something to me, right? And I don't know, you know, that they did it, but I did find out that they did it to me, and they're in office or whatever, and I know I got to vote for them. I'm gonna remember them in November. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm gonna get you back. And that's what people need to realize too. If y'all unhappy about what's going on down at City Hall or what's going on in your community, it's time in November. It's time to make your voice heard. Remember, go to the poll and vote. If you can stand out in the line in this hot sun, almost 106 degrees hot, to get a book bag and to get something for your kids to go so they can start school tomorrow and make a change for they can become better student. Man, I can stand in line 106 degrees to go to the voting poll and make a difference to make my child better. I'm just saying, you know.
Yes, sir.
If you got a problem, if y'all got a problem with anything we about to say, anything we said on this show Saturday night, just Google us. You know?
I already posted my phone number. If you didn't get it the first time, it's 912-228-2205. Call me anytime if you got any kind of gripe or beef with me right there. Done.
That's it.
And the sad part about it is most people who have beef with me, they already got my number.
Yeah. There it is. Hey, if you got any problem or any issue or whatever, hey, call a young fella up and y'all talk about it. Period. So we about to wind it down. I think I got like 2 more questions to ask. And one of the questions I want to ask is this: would you rather sacrifice your love for someone else or let love go and be happy?
It depends on the age and the maturity of the individual.
Okay.
If they're old enough to make conscious decisions, I'd rather sacrifice and let them, because I believe in a child touching that stove. To see
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can tell a child 1,000 times, don't touch that stove, but until they touch that stove and get that arch memory in their head, that's when they begin. And my thing is, child is metaphorically speaking, but if an individual, and it also depends on the lesson. If
Yeah.
it's involved in their life being destroyed for the rest of their life, like something criminally intent or jail or something like that, then it's a metaphorical conversation. But if I could spare my child's life, I would gladly give my life up, because I feel that he still has not learned enough in this life cycle to be able to do what he needs to do. I'll do the same thing for my wife as well. But but if it's somebody who I know knows better, then they need to have that hard lesson. And that's just depends on the situation. Yeah.
Because if you know better, you do better.
Correct. All day.
I would, I sacrifice my love just for somebody else to be happy. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to my child, my family, my girlfriend, anybody that I know for a fact that need love. Because at the end of the day, God say it's better to give than to receive.
All day.
Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be happy no matter what. When God wake me up the next day, the day is a great day. So I don't have anything about sacrificing my love, period. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm happy until you make me mad. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I don't like, Jay, I don't like people to take advantage of my kindness. Thinking that, they do take advantage of your kindness. Say, oh, well, he weak. No, ain't nothing weak about me. Believe me. Trust me. I spare your ass.
Yes, sir. You say that it's been, especially these last 3-4 years, being in position of power, being in position of authority. It's a lot of times I would like to say stuff, but because I have to be the position of authority, I don't say it. Right. And a lot of people are mad at me because of that kind of situation as well.
Yeah.
I was the chair of the party, chair of the Chatham County Democratic Committee. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of inconsistencies that I knew that were bad practices I would never speak on, because at the same time, I was a judge, meaning I had to be the ultimate decision maker of that party, which represents two different people. And people didn't realize that, and they didn't understand that. And so that's what makes a good leader. A good leader is a person who understands they have a multitude of people they have to provide for or be over as far as authority is concerned. And you may not always want to make that rash decision or that rash conversation, because you don't want to be polarized into a grouping or anything like that. And so it's a lot. Now, Bernard, fast forward to today. I'm not in any right now, currently speaking, other than my household, I'm not in any authoritative position. So what that means, I can speak and say a lot of things that I've said on this show here today that I wouldn't have said last year or 2 years ago, on the strength of I want to make sure I have protect them in the organization. And so you get into leadership, and even in that mayor seat or the county chair seat or all those seats right there, you should always be protecting the position, but you never take a position on stuff that's harmful to the worst people that you represent. And maybe I should say that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we couldn't say it better than what we said.
Yes, sir.
Period. So I got 2 more questions, then we're gonna clear it up. I am crazy enough to believe, are you the man of your house?
No, I'm not. Johannes Jones is the man of the house. Whatever he gets, he rolls. But put it this way: in biblical terms, I am the man of the house. In biblical terms, I am the man of the house. I'm usually the decision maker when needs to be done as a decision maker. I believe my belief system is nature versus nurture. Nature versus nurture. Man is nature, woman is nurture. Woman comes from the rib. That means they have feelings, they have desires, they have all those things. And so the woman should be the protector inside the house. The man is the nurturer. He's the provider. He's the one. He's the rock. And so he's the person outside of the house. And so that's my belief system. It's tied to the biblical systems that was talked about in Genesis and in the Bible. And so I'm a firm believer in that kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The man of the house is. But I will tell you this: as Johannes grows, I do allow him to make decisions for the house. And if I don't think it's a decision worthy for the house, then I'll tell him why I don't think it is. Because Johannes is a man in training. Best way to do it for a man is to let him make decisions. And so my thing is, he makes decisions. Now I'm the ultimate decision maker, but he's making decisions because you know why? He has to learn the process of being able to make decisions in a household. Because when he gets out of my house, that's not the time he needs to be trained. The time he needs to be trained is when he's under my auspices, under my house.
Right.
I'm joking when I say he's the man of the house. I am the man of the house, but Johannes is the man in training, and my wife is the one who runs the house. The interior.
Yeah. And you're right. With me, I know what the man. I was the man in the house. You know, I was the man in the house, but basically it was 35 years with my wife, and then after she passed away, then Brandy. Brandy gonna always be, that's my baby. She gonna always be the lady of the house. She just now opening up her own company.
Congratulations.
And she doing her thing, her along with my little niece. They just now got them a building downtown Marietta. And if anybody know downtown Marietta,
big money,
white folks,
big money, big money.
Yeah, so they in the right place, and I'm proud of them because, and one thing I'm proud of her about is this: she listened. I mean, I was a mama and a daddy for 8 years.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a hard job, and I clap for any single parent, any single lady. It's a hard job. You know what I'm saying? You got to make hard decisions. But at the end of the day, like I say, I'm proud of you the way you grew up as from a boy to a man, taking care of your family. Special little fella, the way he's going now, man. I see him. You never know, he may be the president of the United States. And that's how deep. That's what the thinking is. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I appreciate you. And I think this show here, and this is my opinion. I think this show here, America After Dark 101 with special guest, the only Jay Jones, had cleared up a lot of questions and a lot of answers that people had about you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the opportunity. I wish more people would want to be open and candid about finding out about what Jay Jones has to offer. Because I go out there and do a self-expression of it, but it's even better when somebody actually entertains and gives the questions and wants to put the motion out there for us to be able to discuss.
Yeah, definitely. It's been great. Young man. It's like I said, it's been time. We finally got it. The 101. I'm doing this because I like to pick people on the spot. You know what I'm saying? And I like to make people not that you have to explain yourself about anything. The only thing you need to explain, is God. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But it's good to say, hey, a show like this, let people see a different side of Jay Jones. Like I said, I thank you, little bro. I appreciate it. I thank for everybody for just showing Saturday night, showing us love, and it's shout out time. So who you want to get shout out to?
Well, I appreciate once again, big brother. I appreciate you putting this together. Tell JB I'm praying for him in this situation. Nothing but love and respect for JB. I love the girl. I love the guy to death. Appreciate our black media. I tell Julius, I used to tell him all the time, this is where we suffer at as far as getting our exposure, getting our piece out there, having our own presence, our own voice out there is very important. And I still, like I said before to him, and I say it again, I challenge him to take an even greater step as far as making sure that narrative is concerned. Savannah Morning News only got 3 news reporters. So if they only got 3 news reporters and they can handle the whole Ospreys County, I think Julius can handle it all by himself. And I think he's done a wonderful job morphing. I know he's learned his lessons. And so I appreciate that. Shouts out to everybody who's running for public office in November. I hope we double, we triple, we quadruple. And I said it, I challenge everybody in every seat to have at least 5-6 people in those seats running for those public office to get the electric invigorated to be able to get out there and serve and run for public office. And last but not most important is my wife, who I love the most, my son, who I love the most, and my two parents who are living, my Johannes and Rose Jones, who always fuss at me still at this age as if I'm the little boy in their house, but they're lovely. And my sister and my nephew who just went off to A&T. All those people are important to me. And then outside of that, anybody who is struggling, anybody who is suffering, anybody who is left out, lost, or disgusted and busted, and can't be trusted, those are the people I look out, because those are the people in my circle, in my mind frame, are the people we should be serving the most in this world.
Hey, that's it. Hey, that was a great shout out. Like I said, bro, hey, we touch every base. We touch every base. And I want to give a shout out to this. I want to give a shout out to our Black community to let's find a solution with mental health with our kids.
Amen.
And we found a solution. You know, when kids, you know, you think they're bad kids. No, it's our kids really do have mental problems, because it's in this world is really, they just, you know, love them, and we're gonna be okay. And if y'all see me or Jay Jones in the street or whatever, just give us love and say, hey, I love you.
And in show number two, we need to talk about mental health. I need you to ask me questions about mental health, because that's something we definitely need to have a heartfelt discussion as a community, mental health. And not just mental health, but what creates the problem of mental health in our community.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a part 2. I'll bring you back. And the first question gonna be is about mental health. Like I said, I thank you. I appreciate you. I thank America for giving me this opportunity to come in your house. Hey, it's been serious. It's been laughter. It's been wonderful. Thank you. I'll see you next Saturday on America After Dark 101 with Bernard Brown, and I name the special guest at the end of the day. All right. Love you, bro. We out of here.
Peace. Appreciate you, brother. Love you.
Love you too, man.
like that.